Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth, into He-Man, talking about the Netflix original TV series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So we're on Season 2, Episode 2, The World Below. Spoilers ahead, watch the episode before listening to my thoughts. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, notification button, all that YouTube mumbo jumbo. And with that being said, I'm getting into the episode. There has been so much stuff on Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and Netflix over the past month that by the time I got to the end of this first episode that we just talked about in the previous video, and when I got to that little montage there at the end, giving us a sneak peek of this episode, I all of a sudden remembered, oh yeah, Manny Faces was going to be in this season. How cool is that? And I really do like the new take on the characters. So Teela and Orko and Randor in, I don't want to call it the A story because both stories in this episode are A stories, but they have made it to the lower wards, which we did hear about in the last season more than once, so we finally get to see them. And Manny, he is the self-proclaimed king of the lower wards. And he is a pretty great ruler, I would say. He has to take care of so many unfortunate, so many less fortunate individuals who've made it down to those lower wards. He's got to feed them, he's got to protect them, he's got to shelter them. And Teela needs her old pal Manny's help. He also took her in when she was very, very young, apparently. And Randor, well, he's trying to correct Teela throughout the episode. Oh no, I am king of Eternos. There's only one king, that is me. And Randor is still rather arrogant when the episode begins. But as the episode commences and as he's seeing how these people are having to live in the lower wards just hand to mouth and down on their luck, he realizes that, oh, you know, maybe I haven't done all I needed to do. You know, these folks were right under my nose the whole time, and I haven't been the best king that I could be. And so you have Manny not really trusting King Randor. He's got him in a cage. He does not trust Randor because, of course, things that Randor's parents did to him canned him, and you know, he was the entire troupe of performing artists in the Palace of Eternos once upon a time, and we got to find that out. So I really do enjoy this new incarnation of Manny. He can still transform his face from human to robot to monster and back again, using these roles to entertain the people, to protect them. And I love this character, and I really enjoy Stephen Fry's vocal performance. Man, this has been the week of Stephen Fry for me. I've seen him in the entirety of the Sandman Season 1 as Gilbert, and now I am listening to his vocal performance in He-Man. So this guy, he has sure gotten around over the years. I think he's killing it in He-Man. So Teela's not making very decent headway convincing Manny to release Randor. But all of that changes when, of course, Beastman breaks into the lower wards, and it is a full-on battle. You have Beastman's poacher bots there. You have Teela transforming herself into the sorceress. It's a pretty epic struggle. They're doing their little super moves. She does Wings of Zor, and Beastman does his Necro Echo. And I think he does manage to get in a pretty good hit with that whip there. But when all is said and done, Randor manages to help out. Beastman causes his little bots to self-destruct, but you know, he gets away, and they're going to have to beat feet out of the lower wards now that they've been discovered. And Randor has come to his senses, and he does apologize for having brought this trouble unto Manny Faces and the people he's been given charge over. And I like that he comes to the realization, that Randor comes to the realization that if you don't admit that you make mistakes as a leader, as a ruler, and if you don't admit that there are consequences to the actions that you've chosen, wrong actions, I suppose, that you're never going to grow, you're never going to better yourself. And I like that he admits that he could have done better. And so you have Randor and Manny faces, and they're going to seek compromise. So that was a pretty cool part of the episode. But then you have this story taking place simultaneously. So you have our masters who've made it to Avion, and you have Zeno Robinson, who is Stratos. I'd forgotten to mention that pretty amazing voice actor in the previous episode. Man, I really do like his Stratos there. And so they're all going to have to go to the Fright Zone because they need to track down that sigil of Hiss. Crass does not want this guy, this King of Avion, to go with him. I think she feels like he's going to be a hindrance, and she's trying to get Adam to basically tell him to buzz off, even though he has featherless wings. And I mean, he's not Buzz Off, that's a different character entirely, another video for another day. But Adam can't do that. I think he realizes they need all the help they can get. So yeah, Cringer is showing his Snake Man knowledge, and he lets us know that the sigil of Hiss was built beneath Snake Mountain, where Snake Mountain was eventually built. So they got to go back to the Fright Zone, and so we get to explore more of Snake Mountain, which I did enjoy. And I liked seeing that, oh hey, Skeletor's throne has a secret, and if you move it aside, there's a tunnel, and that leads to more places we had no idea were in Snake Mountain. Workshops, apparently a place where King Hiss probably nested, and that is just the tip of the iceberg, because Skeletor shows up with Evelyn, and they're also looking for that sigil. We saw Skeletor earlier in the episode, and he was just talking to himself, talking to this painting of King Grayskull, and I think he unearthed some hidden drawings in the painting. The audio description track doesn't say what exactly he was looking at there, but I think he put two and two together and figured out, oh, hey, yeah, there's a piece of the sigil in Snake Mountain, so we're going to have to go back there. And he is livid when he finds out that the Masters and their castle have survived. Evelyn is not wanting him to get into a fight with them at this point, because she doesn't want the citizens of Avion or their armada to get involved in the skirmish at all. But of course, Skeletor, being Skeletor, he's not listening to her, and he goes and he takes on all of them. I like the little bout between Skeletor and Ram Man, and it's a pretty ferocious fight there. She's trying to break his staff, of course, because they're still trying to free the citizens of Eternos, but he just blasts her backwards, and he does make an interesting remark. I think he says something like, oh yeah, that jewel there on your helmet, you ever wonder where it comes from? And she asks him why, but of course they're interrupted. Stratos comes flying back in there, and everyone's trying to keep him from getting hurt, but now Skeletor has him as a hostage. We see Evelyn having found that piece of the sigil. We have Battle Cat there, and he pounces on her. He manages to get the piece. And Skeletor, he tries to, get the piece for himself, but things don't really work out that well. And Skeletor and Evelyn are sent packing. So now they've got one piece of the sigil. I guess once they find all of them, they will combine themselves. And so the good guys are trying to get all the pieces. Kind of reminds me of those G.I. Joe plots from the 5-part episodes that we used to get. I saw them on USA Cartoon Express, but there are folks older than myself who actually got to see them in the 80s. But yeah, I kind of like that. They're going to have to track down all the pieces to the sigil, and whoever gets to them first is going to win the day, I guess. So that was a pretty cool little plot there. And, the episode ends with Evelyn being stripped of her powers. I really love that. Skeletor is not going to let this go. He is infuriated with her, so he breaks her staff with these havoc chains, and she transforms back into Evelyn. And he just tells her, "No, get out of here. You're done here. I don't want to look at you right now." Beastman has failed, and so I guess those weapons of war that were mentioned in the previous episode, we get to see one of them at the end of this episode, because Skeletor tells Trapjaw to deploy the Triclops. So I guess Triclops is a kind of robot in this incarnation of He-Man. I was kind of hoping he'd be his usual humanoid self, but who knows, he might actually be an intelligent AI or something like that. I haven't seen the next episode yet. I just know that we get a really cool little montage at the end of this one. You have Ram Mam looking quite fearful as she's facing down a monster. I'm guessing it might be Triclops. Just a bit of a preview of the next episode. So yeah, be here as we talk about the next episode. I don't know what it's called right now because I'm trying not to look too far ahead. Oh, Eternia 2000, that's the one. So hopefully I didn't forget anything pertaining to this episode. Stunning performances by Zeno Robinson and Stephen Fry. I really like these two characters in the episode. Awesome fight scene. I wasn't expecting to see as big of a fight scene as we got in this episode. I mean, the last episode was pretty freaking good, but you can't beat fight scenes in shows like this, especially when they're described by the audio description track. I really had a good time with this episode, and apparently I'm getting a spam call from someone who's probably telling me that my non-existent car's warranty is expired, so I'm gonna go, and I'll hear you guys in the next review.